Hello. My name is Alf. I am creating this video as a step-by-step instructions for how to create a custom sound effect for fanfares for Majora's Mask Rando. I assume that it will probably work for OOT as well, but I'm mostly doing this for MM. So that's what I'm here to do. I got a lot of help figuring out how to do this from Philos Kuhn. He helped me out a lot. He gave me step-by-step instructions on how to do this, and I was able to successfully create a sound effect that I released earlier tonight. So I'm going to go through this step by step on how to do everything to get it working on your end. There are some things that you're going to need. You're going to need this. You're going to need a few things. So we need a .wav file for the sound effect that you want to do, which you will have to get that on your own. But for everything else, you have the drop your wav here .bat. I will have links to get these files to get these files in the description. So you'll need the drop your wav here .bat, and then you'll also need the predictor bin to xml.py, and then you also need the z64 audio.exe program with the tom-l. And so we're going to go ahead and start with the instructions here. So I also have this trophy looping template bank that I got from Philos. Sorry, I don't know how you pronounce your handle. So I have this, and I got that from Philos. So you will need an empty bank with one instrument loaded into it. So I've got this one here. So from here, you're going to take your WAV and you're going to drop it into the bat. And it's going to create a couple of files here. The WAV vadpcm.bin, this will be converted to a Z sound file, which is specific to Zelda stuff. So we will do that. So I think we just rename it to Z sound. So yes, and we should be able to open it in Notepad. So we have that. We renamed it to a Z sound file. For this one, the wav.book.bin, we are going to drag that over to the predictor, the Python program, and it will convert it into a bookbin.txt. And we're going to open that. We will need that for later, and I'm closing that back out again. And then we also need the config.toml. That up. I'm going to move this over here. It will have information that we'll need for later. So, and then we're going to widen this up a little bit. And then the next thing that we're going to open is the empty bank that I have here. And in the empty bank, we're going to scroll down till we see, widen this out a little bit more, ALAD PCM books in the brackets here. And then I'll also have the item address and the name of the instrument that's already in there. So from here, we are going to, these are predictors, and what the predictors do is it forces the game to read the sound correctly. Essentially, that's kind of like the basics. I'm not super into the technical part of it, but that's how I understand it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. You want to copy these exactly the way that you see them. So the first one goes in the first slot, second one goes in the second slot, etc., etc. Just this up here. The next part after this, you can basically ignore. We don't have to do anything with that. So from here, we're going to hit save on this, and that'll save that in there. And then we no longer need this. So from here, we are actually going to open up Sec64. So I will get that open here in just a second. Minimize that. Going to open up our ROM description like you normally would with a regular thing here. So let me pull this up. So from here, we are going to load the XML, and we're going to pull it straight from where we got that. So we're going to load up that empty bank that we just edited. And from here, you'll see that we have our instrument in here. And then we also have some other stuff that we'll need to take care of. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to ALAB PC and Books, open this up, go in here, and then we have our four, well, we don't do anything with this. We'll go into Book. We have our 4 predictors here, so those are good. Oh no, we go into loops, sorry. We go into loops, and this is one of the things that we'll need. So we have the config.tml over here, loop end. We need to copy this number into this bank here. We'll copy that in there, and that's good to go. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up instruments. We're going to go into the file. We're going to open up splits. This middle one is the one that we're looking for. If you open these up, you'll see this says null PTR. And same with this one. You want to find the one that actually has the name of the sound. And this is the tuning. I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work all the time, but whenever I put the WAV file into the BAT, it gave me the tuning right here. So it just gives it to you. At least it gave it to me. So you'll just copy that in there. And you want to make sure that after you put the instrument in there, if you're not going to use the one that I have here, just make sure that it's put into one of these inst lists. And that stuff is done. So from here, we're going to go over here to the MIDI file. We're going to import a MIDI. What I did is I've already created this. So as I opened up Sakaiju and I created a MIDI file that is one single note, 3 seconds long, because that's about how long my WAV file is. You just want a single note that is roughly as long as the WAV file that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. First thing I needed to do, we want to not create a command to loop the sequence. So I'm going to redo that real quick. So I put that in there. We're going to go into audio sec over here. We are going to, over here, we're going to insert an instrument right there. And then we're going to set that to 1. And there was a thing that I missed here. So let me back to where I had everything else. So for the Z sound here, you can literally just rename this to whatever you want. I renamed it to Groovy, as I did here. And then want to have an underscore. I believe, double check here. Yeah. So you have the name of the file, and then you want to have an underscore, and then you want to have a hexadecimal value between 60606060, so something like this, and 707070. So what I just did and what Philos told me to do was I just do 616161, and you'll save that there. And then we're going to go back to the audio bank, and to open this up, check something here. Did the tuning. Something I missed. Still need to do. Right, that's right. So we go to samples, open up trophy, sample address, and we're going to change this to hex. It's already set to 61616161, so we don't have to do anything there, but you want to make sure that's what it's set to in hexadecimal. So you do that, and everything's basically set up from here. So the only other thing that we need to do, we need to go over to files, we need to go to audio bank index, save it to the main orchestra, save the bank. Then we go to audio sec, and you're going to go to file select, save the sequence, save it there, and then we're going to do save as. And I'm going to place it where I normally do, next to my ripper, and we're going to save it in there as basically the same name but edit. I'm just going to replace the one that's already there, and then we're going to go back to our folder here. And I didn't mess with the volume or anything. You can mess with it. I don't know how well it works, but I had to max it out to get this sound to be mostly hearable. So we're going to go back to our audio bank ripper. I didn't mean that. Here, and you're just going to drag this in there. It'll create the folder. And you're going to get rid of all this extra shit. You're going to rename these all to 28. And then you are going to go back to the other spot here. And you are going to copy your Z sound file over to that folder. Back to this. And then you also just want to, as normal, you want to create a text document named categories. And the category for fanfare is 8. Just going to put that in there, hit save. That's done. And then you can press all these into a zip file. And then this is the only way that you can test to make sure that it works. You can't do it in the uncompressed ROM. You have to do it through the Rando. That's the only way that you can test this. So create the file, hit yes. And we're going to copy this over to where our randomizer stuff is. So here, hit back. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy this in there. Sure, I don't have the other one set to that. I do. Yeah, that's right there. So now it'll be forced to the lobby screen, and I have a patch file just to make this quicker on myself. And now I'm going to go ahead and open up the ROM. ROMs, song test.
Groovy!
And it works. We are all finished. That is everything that you need to do to be able to get this working. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. My handle in Discord is AlphaBard. It's fairly simple once you figure everything out. It's just I didn't have everything figured out. That's why it took me so long to get this out. So I've got this all done. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Have a good one.